Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Standard Protocol. I'm your host, Matt Sutter. Thanks for tuning in again this week. I am on episode number 8 now, which is huge. When we first started these, didn't know if we were going to make it past 2, but yep, we're on number 8. We're up and running on SoundCloud and YouTube. So however you found us, thanks for listening. And we also want to remind everyone the email inbox, standardprotocolpodcast@gmail.com, standardprotocolpodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what we could be doing better. Let us know what topics you want us to handle. We try to stay away from the really deep ones, but we just tackled mental health the other day. So, I guess at this point, nothing's too deep. So send it our way. Let us know if you want to hear our opinions on things. That's what we're here for. We're here to provide those. So please, standardprotocolpodcast@gmail.com. And with that, we will dive into topic number 1 for the week. So one of the questions that has continuously come up is standard protocol. And I think we addressed this in maybe episode 2. Where does the name standard protocol come from? And so just because we're a few more episodes down the road now, I wanted to kind of explain this in, I guess re-explain it just so that everybody understands that the show is anything but a standard protocol. The standard protocol is this fallacy of life that you grow up, you work hard in school, you work hard in sports, good things come to those who work hard. You go get your college degree, you get into, you find your career wherever it is, and you work hard, start a family, work on your career, climb the corporate ladder, and good things will come, and everybody's going to go out and live the American dream and conquer the world. That's kind of the standard protocol of life, but the reality of it is that there are so many things beyond our control in life that very few of us end up living that true American dream lifestyle. Most of us have setbacks along the way, whether it's career-wise, whether it's, marriages that fall apart, whether it's losing loved ones. We all have these setbacks and these things that life throws at you that you have to, swerve around or you have to deal with. Sometimes you have to take them head on and confront your problems. And that's kind of what the show is all about. There's a standard protocol to life, but in reality, not many of us are actually living that standard protocol. We've all had things that have, not panned out the way we thought they would. We've all had things that just kind of make us take a different direction than what we had originally intended on taking. And so that's kind of where the name standard protocol comes from. And in a way, we should probably call the show something to the effect of the not so standard protocol or the unstandard protocol, because that's really what we're getting at here, is that there's a standard protocol for some, but it's not for many of us. And that's hopefully what people are attracted, that's why you're attracted to the show, is because you want to hear us talk about things that we're experiencing and all these different curveballs that life throws at us. And I think that really we're all dealing with the same problems. They just present themselves in different forms throughout our lives. So millennials and Gen Zs, the standard protocol of the American dream, really, in my opinion, it doesn't exist very, very much anymore. If it does, it's for a very select few people. The standard protocol is really going out and getting it done somehow, finding ways to deal with all this adversity in our lives and going out, staying positive, getting it done, overcoming all that adversity and trying to do the best we can on a daily basis. And in addition to that, in addition to trying to do the best for ourselves on a daily basis, how do we do a good job of making those around us better? How do we do a good job of educating people based on our mistakes so that they don't have to make the same ones? And how do we do a good job of not slamming the door shut behind us when we struggled to open it? How about holding it open for the guy behind you and, helping them ensure their success as well? That really is what the standard protocol is all about as it pertains to this particular podcast. So if anybody's unclear on that or you still have questions, because I do get a lot of questions on that, feel free to shoot me an email, standardprotocolpodcast@gmail.com. Please let me know where I'm missing the boat on explaining that. Again, we touched on it in episode 2, but now that we're in episode 8, I wanted everybody to kind of get a refresher on that. And really what we aim to accomplish here is understanding that life is anything but standard for most of us. And the reality of it is we're all just dealing with the obstacles and adversities that are being thrown at us. And we're trying to do that in some standard form, but there's many standards out there as there are many obstacles and adversities. So with that, I just wanted to recap. That's the explanation. Standard protocol is anything but standard. So please don't be thrown off by the title. And with that, let's roll on to number 2 for the week. So topic number 2 for the week, and this one blows my mind that we really even have to discuss it or that it bears discussion, but it does based on what I've seen in the last few months. I am of a certain age, as I'm sure many of you are, where I have kids and they are getting into sports now. And when I say sports, I'm talking about the kids' sports like flag football, soccer, things where it's just kind of organized chaos on the field. And that's okay because of the age range that we're dealing with, right? Nobody is, there's no 6 to 8 year old Patrick Mahomes out there. It literally is kids out there learning the fundamentals of the game, making mistakes as we would expect them to, and just overall having a good time while they're doing it. We shouldn't expect much from them because it's all brand new, and we shouldn't be upset when the performance is what it is because it's, kids learning the fundamentals of a game, and it's nothing more than that. There's no national title on the line. There's no Super Bowl trophy. It's all about having fun, learning the concepts of teamwork and the fundamentals of the game. The thing that drives me up the wall with what I see when I go to these sporting events, and mind you, I'm not a coach, but what I see, the biggest issue that I see with youth sports is not the kids themselves. The kids are out there doing a phenomenal job, putting in effort. They're showing good sportsmanship. They're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing at that age. But the example that I'm seeing set by the adults is completely horrendously off point. And what I've seen everything from coaches yelling at referees, and mind you, the referees are young as well. They're generally not much older than the kids who they're reffing for, and they're learning the fundamentals of being a referee as well. So, we've had coaches, parents on the sideline, people, screaming at the refs. We have, coaches yelling at the players because they, missed pulling a flag in a flag football game when, a kid was running back a interception that, a ball that was horribly thrown. You've just got people going nuts on the field. Meanwhile, the kids are trying to figure out what's going on because they're struggling to process it all. And it just, to me, is not a healthy, we're not setting a very good example for these kids is from what I'm seeing. Now, I will say the coaches that my kids play for, they do a phenomenal job of not taking the bait, not letting their emotions show. And, you can tell they're frustrated at times because you can only explain so many times how to pull a flag to somebody. But the reality of it is they're not letting their emotions show through, and they're not taking out their frustrations on the kids. And that is as much as I can ask for in these leagues. So with that respect, our coaches are phenomenal. What I see on the other side of the ball, not so much sometimes. And it really bothers me to sit and watch and not, I try not to interject myself because I don't feel that it's my place. But I am bothered by some of what I'm seeing. And I also wonder, where else in life this is going to rub off on these kids and what example we're setting for them to live by later in life. For example, the coach that's blowing up at the ref. Well, the ref is essentially the law enforcement officer on that field, right? They're there to make sure that everybody's playing by the rules. They're there to make sure that it's fair for everyone. They're making sure that, there's not any, extracurricular shoving or anything that's going on out there, trying to keep everybody safe. And that's really the law enforcement officer's role in society. They're out there making sure everyone's playing by the rules, making sure you're not victimizing anybody, making sure that the people that that can't fend for themselves are being fended for by the law enforcement. So to me, it's kind of the same thing. If the example that you're setting is being disrespectful to the ref on the field, that's going to play off. It's going to bleed off into other areas of these kids' lives when they see that. They're going to be disrespectful to their teachers at school. They're going to be disrespectful to the law enforcement officer they come in contact with. They're going to be disrespectful to a boss when they grow up and get a job and have to go work somewhere. Any authoritative figure, there's a chance that they're going to be disrespectful to that authoritative figure based off of what you're exposing them to by way of youth sports and how some of these adults are acting. And I think some of you will argue that that's a stretch. I don't think it is. I think that what the examples that we're seeing out on the field being set by the adults is not a good one in many cases. Now, there are some coaches out there that are doing a phenomenal job. There are some parents out there that are doing a phenomenal job. They're holding their kids accountable for their behavior on the field. They're providing that positive reinforcement when the kids are doing well, and the kids need that. But there are some parents that are just as bad as some of the bad coaches I see. And I don't know, when I sit on the sideline, I've always got my eyes and ears open around me. I hear what's being said. I just know that we could be doing better as a human race in this area. So when you're out there this weekend, or you're at practice tonight with your flag football team, your soccer team, softball, whatever season it is right now, when you're out there with your team, if you're a coach, if you're a parent, whatever the case may be, make sure you're providing that positive reinforcement for the kids. Make sure you're keeping your negative comments to a minimum, and just make sure that the kids are having fun. And if they're not having fun, ask them why. Ask them why they're not enjoying it. Is there too much pressure being put on them by the coaches and the adults in the equation? And if so, how do we lessen that pressure? Sports should be fun. That's what it should be all about. Let's go out there and try to do better if we can. If you've got stories on that, if you've got questions, comments, concerns, again, hit us up, standardprotocolpodcast@gmail.com, and that will close out topic number 2 for this week. Topic number 3, I wanted to talk about engagement a little bit, and I don't mean what you do before you get married to someone. And what I mean is engaging people. And a lot of people, when you say this, we talk about workplace engagement, meaning the bosses are engaged with the workforce, and, people are open to engaging each other in conversation and dialogue to try to solve problems. And there is a lot of truth to that in the workplace, one of the things that people, I think, want more of is more engagement, both from their supervisors or their bosses, and also just the people around them. Everybody would like to engage a little bit more. But I also think that this is not just a workplace issue. This is a life issue. There's such a shortage or a shortness of engagement anymore, because we're always, we revolve around technology, and we always have our heads buried in our phones, and we struggle to engage with each other as much as maybe we once did. And you see it in marriages all the time. One of the things that always comes up is communication and engagement, and trying to help each other as a team solve problems. One partner feels like they're taking on too much on their own, and I've been through that as well myself. And you don't know what you don't know, and so until somebody brings that to your attention, that they either want more engagement or they want more help with whatever it is that's going on in the household, you struggle to really open your eyes and see the other person's perspective. engagement is really how you work your way through that, is just engaging each other, talking about the problems, and better communication. Communication is everything. I mean, that's the key. Anytime you look at anything that we do, whether it's in the workplace, life, raising our families, communication is where we often fall short. And I don't know how, with the human race, the ease in which we can communicate with each other, I never understand how that's always such a big shortfall of all of us. We have more ways to communicate now than ever, and verbal, I still say, is the best form of communication. Some would argue written. I'm not a big written communication guy, because I think there's when you're really trying to personalize something, what better way to do it than a personal conversation? And things get mistaken when they're in writing as opposed to when they're being spoken. You don't necessarily get the inflection in tone when things are in writing as opposed to being spoken. But everything boils down to communication. And when we talk about engagement, that's really just another term for communication. In the workplace, the home, everybody needs to communicate better. And 99% of the failures that you see, you can tie back to something either not being communicated well or not being communicated properly. So I guess, that for the week, employee engagement is about having good understanding of how an organization is fulfilling its goals and objectives, and how changing to fulfill those better gives you a voice in the company. If you're one of the few people that are really pouring your heart and soul into your job, and you're doing everything you can to help the organization meet its goals, you've got to be open to communicating with those around you to try to help move things forward as a team or as an organization, as opposed to just one or two people out there taking on the brunt of everything themselves. So with that, I just wanted to get engagement's a hot topic in the human resources world these days, or in the corporate world. But please don't forget about your communication at home as well. You've got to communicate with your spouses, your families, your significant others. Communication is where we often fall short. So do your best to be a good communicator, and I guarantee you things will start going much, much smoother. All right, so the last topic of conversation for this week's episode, I just wanted to get into the email inbox here and touch on a few of the emails that came in over the past week. One of the things that apparently struck a chord with a few of you in a good way from last week was the mental health conversation, and about how you just never know when that person that you're encountering out there in your daily duties, how they may be having a very rough go of it. They may be at their wits' end, and your encounter may make or break their mental health at that point on that particular day. So that being said, it's always important to put your best foot forward, to be polite, be nice. If someone looks like they're struggling with something, offer to give them a hand. They may tell you no, they may tell you to go away, but at the end of the day, all you can do is try. And people out there are really struggling right now. I see it on the news every night. You've got hurricanes, you've got inflation, people in debt, people that are just struggling to find work and struggling to get by. Everybody out there is fighting some kind of an internal battle, and sometimes it's an external battle that they're fighting. But the fact of the matter is, people out there are struggling right now, and the more empathetic you can be as you live your life on a day-to-day basis, the more chance there is that you might either A, help someone, or B, not push somebody over the edge, and either of which is a good thing. So we prefer reaching out, giving a helping hand to those who are struggling, but at the same time, if we can just be courteous enough to not make their day any worse, that's something, I guess. So as you're out there, you're out at the coffee shop getting your coffee. Be nice to the barista, the person that's, in the gas station when you go in to fill up your car. Say good morning, say hello. These things aren't that hard, and they go a long ways with people. And if you see somebody do something good, say, hey, good job. That was nice. There's nothing wrong with stepping up and, being a positive, making a positive impact on somebody. That's what we should aim to do every day when we're out there. So every day, go out there, do one good deed, whether it's just a simple compliment or you're volunteering for something, whatever the case may be, just one positive thing every day, and we'll take it day by day, and hopefully we can all get through, weather the storm here together. So with that, I'm going to close out week number 8, or episode number 8, I guess. And again, standardprotocolpodcast@gmail.com. Shoot us your questions, comments, concerns, and hopefully you're with us on the next one. Take care. Be safe.